Next, we're going to talk about BCF1, which is the Steiner filter. Now, Arturia hasn't been kind to me as far as demonstration is concerned in this way. Usually with a filter demonstration, I get to turn the cutoff a little bit and the resonance and just kind of go through and show you what they sound like. But because Arturia has gone over the top with both filters, I'm going to have to show you what the low pass sounds like, what the band pass sounds like, what the high pass sounds like, and what the notch sounds like. All of those with resonance. And then theoretically, I'll have to go through the same thing with the 12 decibel per octave so that you can get a sense of the broad scope of this filter. Just this single filter has everything that you would expect in any filter. All of the different types, it's state variable. And then we also get 24 decibel per octave or 12 decibel per octave. And the fact that we have a 24 decibel per octave state variable filter, that's usually not what happens. So this whole thing is a unique experience for me. And that's the same with the ladder filter, which we'll get to. I've never heard these combinations before. So it's a lot of fun. And let's dive right in immediately because we have to. Okay. Before I start, I want to tell you that I am right now just driving everything with a single sawtooth so that you can hear consistently the changes. I was really tempted to get a big harmonically rich 3 oscillator sound going, but to be honest, I think discernment will be easier if I just use the same sawtooth. So let's dive right into that. Okay, here is the cutoff. Here's your sawtooth. And I'm just going to do the straight cutoff of the low pass in 24 decibel per octave mode. It's a very creamy sounding filter. Now I'm going to do that with a quarter of the resonance. Half of the resonance. 3/4 or just under self-oscillation. And you'll notice there hasn't been really noticeable stepping going on, so that's cool. So, and then we have self-oscillation going on. So yeah, that is basically your 24 decibel per octave low pass. Let's talk a little bit about drive really quickly. What drive does is it's just what you might think. It adds a little bit of edge to the filter. Let's have a listen. It's really noticeable when the cutoff is fully up. So you can hear it get a little louder. It just adds a little more emphasis, gives it a little more drive, like its name. So, and that's going to happen in a different way with everything. So let's move on to the band pass and have a listen to that. You might notice that the band pass is a little bit quieter than the low pass. So this would be a point where you could bring drive in. To make it a little louder. Let's hear it with a quarter resonance. With half resonance. Very nice. 3/4 resonance. And then all the way up. We don't have self-oscillation in a bandpass filter, so that's cool. And then, of course, high pass. quarter resonance. Half resonance. Three-fourths resonance. Let me bring that down just a little below self-oscillation. There we go. And of course we have self-oscillation in a resonant high-pass filter. Should have given you a warning that that would get pretty loud. But yeah, I can't think of an instance, and maybe I'm going crazy, but I can't think of an instance where we have a high-pass filter that's self-oscillating and 24 decibel per octave. I think of the high-pass that is self-oscillating in the MS-20, but that's 12 decibel per octave. So this is different. It's just weird. It's fantastic. Let's move down to notch. That's cool. In my experience, resonance sort of diminishes notch. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Gives it an interesting edge. Oh, we have a self-oscillating notch. That's weird. I've never heard that before. It just becomes, the original pitch and then the sine wave from the self-oscillation. That's very interesting, very weird. Okay. So I feel like I'm speeding through this, but I have to because, holy cow, there's so much to show. Now we're in 12 decibel per octave mode, and I'm going to do the same thing I just did. Here we go. Here is the low-pass filter, 12 decibel per octave. Of course, there's a different cutoff slope, so we're going to hear a little bit more of the sounds than we did before when we're all the way down. What I'm saying is that when the cutoff is turned all the way down, we're still going to hear some sound. It's not going to be entirely cut off because of the gradual nature of the 12 decibel per octave slope. And of course, drive sounds like this. Again, just amps up the sound a little bit. Let's hear that with a quarter resonance. Little more edgy. Here's half resonance. Three-fourths. Okay, we have a 12 decibel per octave self-oscillating low-pass filter. Kind of has that gritty sound and certainly self-oscillation. Wow. Okay, so that's pretty loud. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry if I'm blowing your speakers. Let's go on to the band pass at 12 decibel per octave. It's very nice. Quarter resonance. A lot more frothy. Three-fourths resonance. All the way up. Pretty nice sound. And high pass. It's kind of pure. That's a really straightforward high pass. It's you could just. It's interesting. It has a different sound to me. Maybe I'm crazy. Half resonance. I mean quarter resonance. I'll do that one more time. Quarter resonance. Half resonance. 3/4. Well, let me see. Let me find the. Okay, just below self-oscillation. And then with self-oscillation, I can turn this down a little bit. Kind of intense there. Okay, and let's try out the notch in 12 decibel per octave mode. Quite a bit more subtle compared to the 24 decibel per octave notch. That's half. 3/4. Oh. Just below self-oscillation. Interesting. And then we have a 12 decibel per octave self-oscillating notch, which is just basically a sine wave being moved around. Okay, so that is part 1 of the Steiner filter.